Hey, Scupperter here. Okay, so if you've seen my recent video, I just built a ROM cart for the Tandy WP-2. I think I did a pretty good job. Who knows? I'm waiting for all the comments to come out for that one. So what I need to do is I need to install that jumper wire that permits writing on the WP2 unit itself. Okay, so let's do that. Do it quick, and we can all get to other things that we have on the go. Okay, so on the back of the WP2 you have 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course you also have the battery compartment. The battery compartment I find easiest to open with a large coin. In Canada, life is easy because we have large coins. We have toonies, which is a perfect fit to open up that battery compartment. Now, I can't remember if the battery will keep itself in there. No, it won't. So, if you take a look here, the tabs are part of the battery itself. Actually, you know what? The PCB is part of the bottom. So, I'm going to put this cover back on and hope that that CR2430 doesn't fall out. I'm not saying I've got any memory in there. Thank you, Toonie, Canadian $2 coin if you weren't aware. Okay. So, 5 screws. One, two, three. And of course, make sure that you don't strip the heads of your screws. And when you put everything back together, make sure you don't strip the holes that the screws go into. All of which are unfortunate. We don't want to have to deal with any of that. So when we open this up, if any of you have seen any of the other videos, we're going to want to lift it to the right, the top of it to the right, because the ribbon cables are on this side of the body. So we'll go here. Unless I'm thinking about the Model 100. Anyone want to correct me on that? Oh, so it's what I can do. You can use like a spudger tool here to kind of just go around the edge. I often use my fingernail. And there should be a tab in the middle. Don't want to break the tab. Go to the fingernail. There we go. Oh, yeah, and what I was saying, we lift to the left, or to the right. And it's going to show us the bottom without disturbing the ribbon cable. Now, what I have been told, and this is where I'm going to zoom in, is that we are going to be running cable from pin number 2, I'm assuming over here, to pin number 5 over here. So we'll start with that. I am going to use this tiny enameled copper wire. It's known as jumper wire. This one here is 0.1 mil. Then we're going to go from pin 5 to pin 2 all the way over here. The first thing that we need to do is put a little bit of flux over here on pin number 2. Number 5, counting up from the bottom on RA4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 pins there. I'm going to take my soldering iron, heat up the end of this, and I'm going to put some fresh solder. Let's see if I can bring this to the end of the frame so you guys can watch me do that. fresh solder to tin the line. And of course, in tinning it, what's going to happen is it's going to remove the enamel that's on the wire. Just kind of sit there for a second. It will cook off some of the plastic. Sorry, some of the enamel coating, that's the word. There we go. I'll wipe the excess off. And we're going to go back over to pin number 5. I wish I had a better zoom, but I don't. I'm going to put a little bit more solder over here. There we go. And then I'm going to unravel enough wire to come down across the bottom and then make a 90 to go back over to pin number 2 on this end. I don't know if you guys can see that. Tell me if you feel that I'm going too over the top. I'm going to go here and then go over this way. So what I want to do is I'm going to take a toothpick and a little bit of hot melt and hold this in place where I want to make the 90. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to come over to this side. I'm just going to bend over that other resistor a little bit. I think that's a resistor. And then bend the one that I want to solder to. And I'm going to cut the appropriate length. And I'm going to tin this wire. Now, before I go and complete the connection, I'm just going to do a resistance test between both ends just to make sure I got all the enamel off. So everybody at home can hear. Just going to put it on continuity. Got that. And we'll take pin number 2 or 5. There we go. I'm going to take my tweezers. It's a little long, but that's fine. I'm just going to cut a little bit off. Actually, you know, let's tin a little bit more. I want it closer to the clean that off. And put some fresh solder on pin number 2 over here. Get a little flux on that. It's not heating up. Flux is your friend. This is no clean flux, just in case you're wondering. Don't want it eating away at the board. Oh yeah, there we go. That exactly did what I needed to. Good. I'll let it fill the joint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tiny little wire and I'm going to bend it at where I want it to connect. I'm going to grab the excess with some tweezers. And I'm going to put it where I want it. Oh, I think I just messed up. I may have snagged instead of cut. That's fine. I'll just pull that back into place. Now what I've done is I've got it going across this area here for the screw. I'm going to put a little bit of a marking on there just to make sure that I'm not, in the future, if I ever have to take the keyboard out, that I'm not going to cause any problems. Okay, so I've got no problems there, no shorts. Gonna get a fresh Q-tip. Some alcohol, clean off the extra, and put a little blob of hot melt in there just to make sure that none of those wires move or short on anything. Granted, they shouldn't short because they're enameled. You know what we can do there? Oh, that'll work out just fine. Actually, you know what? Can we put... I was thinking to myself, I'm like, should I put some conformal coating on that? Oh, that's fine. Done. So we now have the connection between pin 5 over here on R4 and the pin 2 over on this side. I'll break out the multimeter and we'll test. I put the hot melt on, of course I can't test it. But I'm going to assume it's fine. And the insulation is still good on that wire. Done, done, done. Perfect. So if you have comments or questions on the procedure I did here, let me know. Otherwise, the next stage is to see if we can write to that ROM card. No clue how to do this. We will have to find out together. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching.